Welcome back to another part of the Diablo II 1.06 guide series. And today we are having a look at the Sorceress, the probably fastest character in the game. Let's have a look at the stats here. Obviously, you're familiar with this magic-based character. It relies a lot on energy here. Way more than the Necro even. The Necro starts with the 25 energy, but the Sorceress takes it to another level. It's probably the highest stat that any character has. Just very heavy on energy, and the price for that is like a lot of vitality and strength. Has some dexterity, which I never figured out why. I was always wondering, wouldn't it be better to have like more vitality than dexterity? But maybe for balance, maybe just to balance it out a little bit. Having 25 dexterity doesn't have to be something bad. And we'll talk about that later. Other than that, like Necro, you get 2 points of mana for attribute points. So again, you want to focus on your energy stat here. That can be it can depend on the difficulty you're playing on, either hardcore or softcore. Now on softcore, I would say don't worry much about the vitality. Just go into energy, get the mana going, and sometimes you die. All that happens. You can pick up your body. It's fine. Now on hardcore, you don't have that luxury. You die, and you can just start all over again. So keep balancing that out. You have to think for yourself. Like, how much do I need for which area of the game, and when do I need it? In terms of strength and dexterity, strength you just want to. Strength and dexterity is basically just important for the gear. Now, with strength, you probably want to get to Mage Fist and one of the Eyeless. Maybe some other items that you'll find. Depends. If you want to use something like go all the way and use something like Six of Victor just for the extra skill point, you can go crazy in that and 100 strength points and lose a lot of mana in life. But if you want to do it, you can do it. It's possible. Especially if you play on softcore again. Like softcore, you can sacrifice a lot of vitality there. Would not recommend it though. Dexterity, actually, an interesting thing. I would recommend trying to get if you want to use Spectral Shard, which is a nice option to have. One of the best caster weapons you can get. If you want to use that, you will need 26 additional strength. You need to get to 51 strength. Dexterity, excuse me. So it needs 51 dexterity. Getting 26 dexterity from your gear can be hard, so you might want to put some points in there. But then again, you can also get a wand or a scepter that has 20 FCR, can come with mana, and can have even way more res than the Spectral Shard. So Spectral Shard only offers 10 to all res, so it's nothing too crazy. So you gotta think about it, whether it's worth it or not. The breakpoints, when it comes to hit recovery, when it comes to block rate, at least the block rate is a little bit better than the Necromancer, but the hit recovery is atrocious. And that is something you have to pay attention to. You definitely need some hit recovery gear. I would recommend 2 pieces. I would recommend get at least 40 for hell difficulty. Obviously, you don't want to get hit in the first place, but yeah, if sometimes you just can't avoid it. And considering how fast you can get killed in Hell, and even in Nightmare difficulty, it's having a lot of hit recovery is nice. On normal difficulty, aim for 20. Aim for a piece that has fastest hit recovery. That should be enough for that stage of the game. Nightmare you want to consider maybe adding something else. Otherwise, when it comes to casting, you can see that reaching the 7-frame breakpoint is a lot easier here than in D2R or any version of LOD, where you would need 200 FCR for 7 frames compared to the 75 here. You would need 105 FCR compared to the 56 here. 63 compared to the 41. 37 compared to the 28. 20 compared to 17, and 9 compared to 8, but otherwise seems the same, except for the lightning skills. Now there are no breakpoints here listed for lightning skills, which are they're basically static. They cannot be increased, and I think the frames for those should probably be somewhere up here. I'm not entirely sure. It would be somewhere around here, 15 to 13. They're very slow and can be increased. It's kind of rough. Lightning and chain lightning, those two skills are the only exception. So, and then if you want to go into lightning skills, I would recommend Charge Bolt or Nova. I would not bother with the other stuff. Okay, having said that, let's dive into the game and have a look at the sources in the game. So we're starting off with Firebolt spell right away, which means having the Firebolt right on your weapon like that, that allows you to go for Warmth right away. So I want to get my first level up. First skill I want to pick up is Warmth. It doesn't seem like you're getting a lot out of it, especially since the mana is still very low, but every little point you can regenerate faster helps on this character. It really does, and by the time you get to Act 2, Act 3, you'll notice that, oh boy, I really need every point of mana that I can find now. So putting in those points into energy, putting skill points into Warmth, that is huge. Now you might be worried about the damage as well, but the damage can be dealt with static. Static doesn't need a lot. Just add in like 3 points and you're good to go. And then you can finish monsters off with your other skills. In fact, some of the other skills can deal with monsters just like that. One of my favorites to use is Glacial Spike. I was actually surprised by how well it worked as a one-point wonder on my single-player playthrough, where I was throughout most of normal and Nightmare, I was using static and Glacial Spike, and I was not very unsure on which skills I wanted to pick up on fire. I definitely wanted to pick up Frozen Orb. And comparing Glacial Spike to Blizzard here, now Blizzard is a continuous damage spell. It keeps dealing damage over time, so obviously it's gonna do way more damage than Glacial Spike if you keep spamming it. It's kind of like Firewall everywhere, but it's kind of not like Firewall as well, because sometimes it ticks, sometimes it doesn't. Whereas in like stuff like Firewall or Meteor, it ticks all the time. So it ticks each frame. You get damage per frame from those fire pits. And that is insane. So yeah, I would rather use Glacial Spike on that. Have more control of that. You're more sure about it hitting stuff, and it actually freezes stuff. which is another amazing thing about skill. There you go, getting a level up. First thing you want to do is pick up warmth, and okay, the mana regen, it's very slow. This is how long it takes for you to get another firebolt. So what you're going to do is jam all points in here. And we'll keep doing that for quite a while. Like, you'll be doing that for a long time until you get like stuff like your utility skills like telekinesis and static and teleport. Definitely want to have those three. You can obviously pick up Frost Nova as well. Honestly, when it comes to damage, you can pick up almost any skill here. Again, from lightning, I would probably not advise from avoiding lightning and chain lightning, but all the other skills are pretty much viable. Maybe avoid thunderstorm because of its inconsistency, but other than that, each skill can do some damage. The early skills, like obviously the firebolt and the ice bolt, at least, not worth putting many points into it. Kind of makes sense. They're weakened. They're not synergies for anything else. There are no synergies in here, so you might want to avoid those. But charge bolt, for example, can be an option even for the late game. It can be used in the late game. So I want to find the waypoint here. One thing you want to consider also every time you start a game, don't just use the town portal scroll on the Den of Evil. You're already short on money here. You're short on money. You're short on gold. And wasting that town portal scroll, which costs like 100 gold, that is quite painful. So take your time, like going through a lot more. Just there's no rush. There's no rush to beat the game here. Especially when you're playing this the first time. There's no need to try to go fast if you don't know how to. So if you have played previous patches, previously played other patches of this game, well, it doesn't really matter. This game is vastly different from anything you might have played. So yeah, let's see that compared to the Paladin, a much slower start here. There's some throwing weapons, they're just low quality, but still. Throwing weapons are throwing weapons. They could give me a decent amount of gold. Okay. So let's showcase Charge Bolt as well. After I get that level up, just so you can have a look at that. Usually I would just say keep putting points into warp and stay with the Firebolt. Hopefully you'll find something with Charge Bolt and the staff, but unless you really want to use the Charge Bolt, then you can already put that one in at the start of the game. But unless you're doing that, I would avoid putting a point into anything else but warmth until level 6. And then obviously level 6, you can think, oh, well, what else you want to pick up? Do you want to pick up Static now? Or do you want to first pick up Frost Nova? Or maybe Telekinesis? Well, Telekinesis is usually one I go for later, not right away. But that's just my choice. I don't want to bind you to a certain build here, especially with the Sorceress. Each skill can be useful. And it really depends on how the rest of the playthrough goes, what items you find. It can also determine sometimes how you build a character. Okay, since we got here, I can now rely on Charge Bolt. Now the one positive thing about that is I can now get rid of the staff I have. I don't need it anymore with the static, with the charge bolts. Those are far better than the firebolts in terms of damage. But that's gonna be tricky. Nope, I'm not throwing them. There we go. Getting the yellow amulets, which is kind of cool. Oh, this is nice. Some mana and life, not much, but even if it's a tiny amount, it still helps. Finish up the last few enemies. And of course, we're always missing some monsters. Might have been somewhere at the start. Which is, I mean, this is a classic. You always miss out on a few monsters here. Anyway, going back to town after this. I do want to go to the Cold Plains and also look at what we can shop for the Sorceress. Show you some options there as well. Stuff to pay attention to. Alright, okay. I see what happens. 2 zombies here. And there's the one missing. What on earth is going on? That is not good. There in the corner, maybe? Nope. Okay, I am actually speechless right now. Never had this happen before. How did I miss out on the... Do not have a stamina potion here. And we're backtracking again. Well, let's pick up the bolts. This is going to drag out this review a little bit, but I don't think it's worth looking for. Although, I mean, we're running all the way back now, so might as well. Probably a zombie that decided to play hide and seek. There you are. How did I miss that one? Okay, we got that one down. Go back to town, so we got our loot. Now, here's the thing. Now, if you get some of these blue items, sometimes there's a risk that if you buy a scroll for 80 gold, you might not get the same amount back for selling this clump. So that's a risk you have to take sometimes. Then we can also sell this. That's just kind of nice to have, but the bonuses are very low. So might as well do that. No, in this case, this scenario, it actually paid off. Just slightly. So we got some extra gold here as well. And then you can have a look at items over here. You can even look for Necromancer wands because of stuff like this, +1 to mana after each kill. And having that on a one-handed weapon can be better. But you can also look at our sword staffs here. You get something like fast cast rate with 2 to charge bolts. That would be insane actually. If we had the gold, of course. Usually don't get this amount of gold. Like getting 1,500, that's actually a good number. That's usually not the case. Instead, let's have a look at what we can buy here. And then, there you go, that's the stuff we want. Faster run walk. Now, fast attack speed, not so much. But we can get a belt. A sash, for example, here. Cheapest one. We don't really worry much about the defense stats. Or any other nice defensive buffs. We don't need them yet. And then can go crazy and pick up stuff like a weapon that has some extra damage. Instead of using this short step, especially once you have put a point on the charge bolt. Now, if you're still using your staff mod, the firebolt from the staff, then obviously you don't want to get rid of it because that's your main attack. But you can, why not pick up a scimitar, which is one of the fastest weapons in the game, with some decent damage at least. Has some fire damage on top of it, so. Then you have this deadly short sword. I mean, look at that one. That's crazy, but it costs a lot because of that nice mod on it. Just pick up anything you might find useful. At the beginning of the game, you're not going to be casting a lot anyway as a sorceress. So having a nice weapon to rely on, not a bad thing, not a bad choice there. Can go for throwing weapons instead as well, or even a range. You could pick up a bow, like a long bow. I would probably recommend, which is slower, yes, but definitely packs more punch than the other bow. Also doesn't require you to put points into dexterity, rather into strength, which I would rather do. I would rather go with strength here than picking up some other stats like dexterity. Strength, I won't regret because I will probably need a little bit of strength for my gear later on, but dexterity, unless I go into Spectral Shard, there's no need whatsoever to ever go into dexterity, so I would avoid the Hunter's Bow and just say, you know what, screw this, I go for something like this, like a longbow instead. You can also check the other weapons here. And just find something that could be useful. Maybe you can find something here with mana after each kill. And that can be great as well. So you get all these options. And I'm thinking about actually picking up a weapon here, just for the heck of it. This Club of Worth is actually really nice. Since we are using Charge Bolt, we can just use that one. And go to Cold Plains and let's demonstrate that damage. 1, 2, 3. Can we one-shot this guy? Well, we can two-shot him. It's still impressive. And that's something you can rely on. Now, if you get a lot of them here, then you can consider casting your Charge Bolts, and then you can go in with your club and 1 or 2 shot him. Just like that. And there you go. This is how you can slowly progress through the game. pick up your loot. Make sure to pick up throwing weapons, even if they're crude at the beginning. It's still gonna give you like 20, 30 gold, which is a decent amount. And of course, this one is lightning and chances. We can't do much against that guy. But now I'm close to a level up. This is something you can utilize as well, considering that you have such low mana, such a low amount of mana at the beginning, and no mana potions. You can keep track of your XP bar, and if you're close to a level up, just spend some more mana. And there you go, you refill it with the level up. That's just one of the many tricks you can utilize. Okay, so much for the early game, for the starting sequence. Well, now it's time to showcase the Sorg, how he can look in the endgame. As you have noticed, most of these endgame characters are on hardcore. They're not really necessarily endgame. They've just gotten some more additional gear and beaten the game. Now with this playthrough with the Sorceress, which I have on YouTube, check it out if you want to. Was on 1.0, and I converted it over to the 1.06 version. I was able to get Mage Fist and Wall of the Eyeless pretty early. Wall of the Eyeless dropped from Duriel in normal difficulty, which was insane. That was really made the run a lot smoother than it could have been. Mage Fist, got it in early Nightmare somewhere in a stony field, and yeah, I got myself some of the other stuff together as well. Eventually, I got to farming SOJs, and I managed to get 2 SOJs. I was muling one over to another character in order to find the second one, which I don't often use. Like, I usually find myself to stay with the FCR instead. And, especially when I'm in Hell, I'm going for the resistances. And, this one is absolutely amazing. Great thing to find is the Prismatic Ring, which always rolls 15% or less. So this one came with cast range, so that's great. That's an amazing item to have. Very sought out. Just a hit recovery here, a little bit at least. And, this one here, I'm actually running a little bit less hit recovery than I would like to. I'm still looking for a better belt, but I think I had Blood Fist at one point here, but I muled it over. Got some other stuff lying around. This one dropped from me from Hell Duriel, but just some stuff you can utilize here. Obviously, you see the Tarn Helm and stuff like that. I've been using this Sorceress for Magic Find, for MFing. But anyway, let's showcase some of the skills. Now, with this Sorceress, I went into Frozen Orb and Firewall. I was considering Meteor or Firewall or Hydra, but just picked up Hydra for the fun. Like, I can demonstrate the no cooldown effect on the Hydra. It's actually crazy. You can keep spamming them, actually. You can just blast an entire screen full of Hydras. But the skills I'm relying on, Glacial Spike, Firewall, and Frozen Up. And Glacial Spike, even at level 1, it does the trick at times. Just a short moment where you can freeze the enemy. And obviously, the more points you put into it, the more damage it's going to make. And if you want to keep studying stuff, you want to maybe add in a Frozen Orb every once in a while just to slow stuff down. And let them walk over to the Firewall here. And yeah, you can sometimes find these invisible islands But the firewall is also a nice one. I mean, I'm just using 3 firewalls here, and he is slowly melting. And the thing is with firewall, you can keep stacking. Like the Hydra, the Frozen Orb, you can just keep spamming firewall. And let the enemies walk in here. And die. It gets especially powerful when you fight Diablo, and then say I have full mana. And as the skill description says, it's 265 to 277 fire damage per second, which is not necessary. I don't know how true it is. Only thing I can see is if I stand in front of an enemy and do this, I can keep casting. Like I can. And now you can imagine how much damage is on that firewall. If I have an enemy on that, he's gonna get cooked very quickly. I can just drag them along here. And even the pit lords that have a lot of fire res can get a lot of damage on that one. Oh, I do have a spectral shard here, as I mentioned, and I've been thinking about putting the points into dexterity, but it just it doesn't seem worth it. You know, I already have this scepter here that has some nice cast rate and mana. Doesn't have any resistances, which would be nice considering I'm using all of the eyeless, but I don't think it's that necessary, really. I can manage without, I believe. Let's try some Mephisto farming. Mana Shrine, like that. Oh, well, what a block. That was amazing. And just let the firewall do the job. Ouch. And yeah. But it worked. Got hit there, but it worked. Now we can access the portal with telekinesis. There's something. It got better in the 1.06, but in 1.0 I could not reach the waypoint from here. I had to get very close in order to probably aim at that one. So, as you can see, very fast character, very quick at farming bosses, and which do not necessarily drop the best items, but Mephisto gives a decent amount of XP on the normal difficulty early on. You can go down there, grab your 11k XP, and get back. Same with Israel. Same with if you get a tanky sword, you can farm the other one normal. Like if your sword gets a little bit tankier, you can do that. Other skills that are amazing. Let's just showcase them. Let's just showcase Inferno for the heck of it, because it's fun. Oh, these are fire resistant, so I'm not going to do a lot of damage against them. Yep, I'm not going to do a lot of damage against them. But fun fact, you can actually get Inferno to do a decent amount of damage at one point, if you max it out. But nobody wants to do that. It's a terrible skill. Blaze, however, was something I used early on. Just because it's kind of like a firewall, just a little bit weaker. It's and doesn't do a lot of damage. It's just a level 1 blaze, but these things are fire immune, so obviously they're gonna. Still getting some damage from it, so that's actually impressive. You'll use that from can use that from normal difficulty. it's really nice. It's also nice to fight Duriel with it. To finish him off, you can keep hitting him with static, slow him down with the Frost Nova, like this, and then use Blaze and have it follow you while you just keep using Frost Nova. And slowly Duriel will take more and more damage while you static him and slam him with Frost Nova. And then you can just finish him off. Other skills, Fireball can be skilled. It's like Glacial Spike. It's a nice AoE tech spell. It does some decent damage. Obviously, Meteor can be amazing once you get that one going. Let's have a look, shall we? Now, doesn't this look awesome? It's only a level 2 Meteor, but you have to consider the Pit Lord is fire resistant. However, once you get the Fire Mastery up, once you get the Meteor up in its levels, then that's going to change very quickly. The Pit Lord is going to take a ton of damage from that as well. So this is definitely a hell viable skill. It's demonstrated against something else, actually. Let's see if we can find... Okay, maybe these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I guess they're also fire resistant. Didn't remember Stranglers be that tanky versus fire, actually. Okay, let's go Flare. Let's go Kura's Bazaar. Let's have a look here. These are also fire resistant, I believe, but can I get some? Well, find some war gauntlets spontaneously. Okay, the Sacral Mines are not fire resistant. So that's something we can aim for. Let's have a look. Oh, you can find some more of those. Maybe the tree head guy at the entrance. Go to check and retrieve, whatever. Let's have a look at... nope, not the firewall. Hope the firewall's gone by now. Yep, it is. Let's have a look at how much damage we can deal with the... lower level of Meteor. It seems decent. The Sacramite has almost full health, but and you can see because of the mana cost only being at 18, I have a decent amount of mana regen. I can keep casting them. Like, it's not like I'm running out of mana yet. So again, like once you get Meteor up, for me, I decided to go for a Firewall. And I probably want them to stick to that, walk into that firewall, maybe also rely on static. Which is still your main attack. Obviously you still want to hit some with static instead. However, it is possible to get to the point where you can just attack stuff without static at all. You can just drop powerful spells. Again, this Sorceress is not really there yet. We only have 8 points into Firewall and 1 point into the Mastery, so That's not really that strong. Even the meteor, there's 1 point here, 1 point here. You get that additional point from the Mage Fist. That gets it up to level 2, but that's about it. One thing you want to pick up as well is Lightning Mastery, which doesn't increase the damage, but reduces the cost of spells. That's nice to have. If you play on soft, you might even consider it like energy shields. For hardcore, it's, well, boy, it's a little bit can be scary. Can be scary to use, because not only when you lose all your mana, not only do you lose all your health pool, basically, because it will work as most of your health pools, but you also use all your ammo. You could say you cannot keep casting spells if you're out of mana. If you get hit by these stranglers and the CS, that can be devastating. The frozen armor, frozen armor is pretty obvious. Freezes stuff, can help you escape situations. Definitely worth it if you play hardcore. Shiver armor only gives you cold length on the enemy, but sometimes cold length is not enough to slow down some extra fast enemies, so you want to consider that as well. Frozen armor might be the better choice sometimes. Enchant, not the best skill, honestly, especially for the late game. It's more of a nice skill to use for weaker characters to buff them, help them level. You can come into a game and be like, "Yep, want me to enchant you," and do that. People will love that. Will help them get past normal difficulty with that. Especially when you get some more cluster skills like this, you can just put on, I guess, a Jace and maybe a Sorceress Amulet, and suddenly we have level 6 enchant that gives 21 to 24 damage and lasts like 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Like 4.5 minutes, let's say. So that's nice to have. And also you can see how much the firewall damage has increased here. Now it's almost a 200 damage increase here. So again, like the more points you get, the stronger your skills get, the more of an impact. Like the less reliant you are on static to kill most of your damage. Except for bosses, of course, those are tanky. But you just saw how quickly I dispatched Mephisto. Just a couple statics, and you're fine. Also, don't panic. Just like I was a moment ago, like we are on hardcore and I got low health. Something that's, you can always die in this game. Like that's something you have to get familiar with, and if you get used to that difficulty, then you will have less fear of engaging into these dangerous combats, dangerous fights that you have. Anyway, let's get. Actually, let's have a look at some of the other stuff that you could use for boosting. Maybe an energy shield as well. It would probably absorb a lot more than 50%. The lightning mastery for teleporting, that's going to decrease our cost even further. As I said before, the enchant is nice. And you can see how the glacier spike actually, considering that you can consistently spam glacier spike, it might outperform Blizzard in terms of mana efficiency here. In a certain way, like you would have to. Yeah, just in terms of mana efficiency, it could be like regarding you also have mana regeneration rates, so not necessarily, but it could be pretty equal on a very equal, almost on the same level here in terms of damage and mana usage. I think Glacial Spike is, again, I believe it's an amazing skill. Having that stun duration increased. Here you can see like 0.2 seconds per level. This can get pretty long, the more points you put into it. Ice Blast is basically a weaker version of it that only hits one target, but the advantage is the lower mana cost. No, not as necessarily, not that much. Actually, really surprising. Glacial Spikes it even surpasses Ice Blast here. And then, of course, you have Frost Nova, which also gets cold duration, like Frozen Orb. So if you cannot get Frozen Orb, I would recommend just 1 point in Frost Nova for your builds. If you don't want to go for Frozen Orb. If you want to try something else, if you want to be like, okay, I want to go Fire first, I don't want to bother with Orb, at least pick up the Frost Nova. Maybe put 1 point in the Glacial Spike for the early leveling. Those are nice skills to have. Very useful. Nova and Charge Bolt, I demonstrated Charge Bolt before. Charge Bolt can be really nice once it gets multiple bolts, like 10 bolts with each cast. It can be really amazing, and damage is going up as well. But I think Nova might be the best lightning skill for damaging, aside from Static Field, of course. The breakpoints are easier to reach, and you can actually get that something that's really hard to do in D2R, to get to that 200 FCR breakpoint. Here you don't have to, you don't need any endgame gear or something like that, you can just go into Nova right away and slowly get your gear together to get to that breakpoint. It works, and combining that with Frost Nova, combining that with stuff like Glacial Spike as well, you can even get in 1 point to Glacial Spike. Again, you don't have synergies, don't worry much about that, and Lightning Mastery only reduces the cost, so, and if it gives you less, it has diminishing returns, so you can rely on your other skills as well. Utilize those and get some warmth, get some mana regen. In fact, I actually maxed out warmth on this sorceress, but yeah, don't feel bound to having to like commit to, oh, I have to max out static and Nova, because no, just don't. I would recommend, especially when you play through the game, to not max out a skill. It's going to cost a ton of mana, which you won't have at the beginning, as well as make you less flexible with versatile with enemies. Like certain enemies are going to be lightning resistant or cold resistant or whatever. Or you can handle that with the cold mastery at Frozen Orb. But even that, like, you'll probably also want to use static fields at times. Frozen Orb is amazing, but it does small amounts of damage, and doesn't always get enemies stuck and hit recover. Like Oblivion Knights with the Zeiss, it's gonna be a little bit harder with Frozen Orb than with another skill like Meteor. He has a high cold res, won't be put in hit recovery, and not even his minions, I believe. And yeah, you will have a hard time dodging those projectiles that they shoot at you. So yeah, I think we've said most. Like the masteries, didn't talk much about those. Very simple. Fire increases damage, like always. Cold decreases the enemy resistances, pierces enemy resistances. And lightning decreases the cost of your spells. Now, one thing to mention about the cold mastery, the piercing. I've heard that some people say that the percentage is not additive, but rather if a monster has 80% cold res and you decrease it by 50%, it will end up having 40. So it's accumulative. It kind of works with the multiplicative. It's sort of like that. It works like that, and it's not additive. But And I don't have no confirmation about that. Like I really believe it's just works like Cold Mastery does. Nowadays it's just additive, and but I would have to check on that. So. And you should probably just keep your eyes open and ears open, figure that out. But one thing I can recommend anyway, despite that being in discussion, it's probably not going to matter. You don't want to put too many points in the Cold Master. At one point, it will have diminishing returns. Like you can see right here, it was 5% before that. Now it's going to be 4%. It's going to get lower and lower and lower, and it actually makes even less sense to do it if it's not additive. If it was additive, then it would at least gain a lot more from it than if it wasn't. So, in that regard, you want to balance it out. The damage you deal with Frozen Orb and the Cold Mastery. Frozen Orb is still going to be your best damaging cold spell. And maxing out Frozen Orb, is it worth it? Probably, maybe, if you have a ton of mana. I mean, right now I want to maintain my breakpoint, so I cannot put in Frostburn, but I can definitely swap out that one, and let's swap out a ring. This one doesn't offer me much, but mana and mana after each kill, so I get way more mana from the SOJ. So let's see how much I can spam. There was a lot of Frozen Orbs before I ran out of mana. Now if we do the math, and it's 2 mana points per level, it's gonna end up at, you're gonna put in 10 more points, you're gonna end up at 65 mana. 65 mana cost, so yeah, that's gonna be probably going to lose a third of our Frozen Orbs that we just fired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 11 to 12 Frozen Orbs. It's gonna be like 8 or 7 Frozen Orbs after maxing it out. Then again, we can still put points into energy. Only have 555 life. It depends. Everybody can play the game differently. Everybody has a different style that he prefers to play. And if you want to try to go high risk, high rewards, like max out the Frozen Orb and jam all the points into energy, just spam fire for insane amounts of damage, you can do that. Anyway, I think that covers everything regarding the Sorceress. One minor thing is how telekinesis works, and I want to keep that in mind when multiplayer with looting. It's not a nice thing to loot away stuff from other people, especially when someone kills an enemy and loot falls right in front of the melee fighter, and you just do this and grab that shield from the distance. That is ridiculous. You can do it with uniques as well, and amulets, bam, there you go. It's a fun thing to do, but just don't go overboard with it. Can be frustrating for other players, but also can be fun and very useful at times when you have to. You want to grab some loot, but it's just very dangerous. Or you want to access your waypoint from a distance, or a portal from a distance. Just to save yourself, you can actually hotkey a portal. And you have a fast cast rate with the Sorceress anyway, so you can do that, and then just... Telekinesis doesn't work. Ah, yeah, I forgot about that. Even I forget stuff. Yeah, telekinesis doesn't work on the portals, at least not outside. But yeah, in town it should work. Which is nice. Again, you have to run back, you hear guys, oh, Diablo's spawning. No, we need you, we need static. Static stuff, okay, we get in. Static, and that's about it. Okay, that should cover everything now. guess we can wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and until next time.